When I first started learning about Franklin D. Roosevelt, I thought I was just reading the story of another American president. But the deeper I went, the more I realized I was discovering one of the greatest comeback stories in history. His life wasn't just about politics, it was about courage, hope, and proving that even when life knocks you down, you can still rise high enough to change the world. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was born on January 30, 1882, in Hyde Park, New York, into a wealthy family. From the outside, it looked like he had everything anyone could ever want. He received a great education, attended Harvard University, and later studied law at Columbia. Most people believed his future would be comfortable and predictable. But life had a completely different plan waiting for him. As a young man, Roosevelt entered politics with a dream of serving the American people. His confidence, intelligence, and warm personality quickly made him popular. It seemed like nothing could stop him. Then, at just 39 years old, everything changed overnight. In 1921, Roosevelt was struck by polio, a disease that left him permanently paralyzed from the waist down. Imagine waking up one day and realizing you may never walk again. Doctors were uncertain about his future, and many people believed his political career was over. Some even thought the American people would never accept a leader in a wheelchair. But they underestimated one thing: his determination. Instead of giving up, Roosevelt spent years pushing himself through painful therapy and endless rehabilitation. Every small movement became a victory. Every difficult day became another reason to fight. He refused to let his disability define him. While many people saw weakness, he quietly built incredible mental strength. His greatest battle wasn't against polio, it was against hopelessness. That inner strength would soon be tested on a much bigger stage. In 1932, during the darkest years of the Great Depression, millions of Americans had lost their jobs, homes, and savings. Families struggled to find food, businesses collapsed, and hope was disappearing across the nation. It was one of the hardest periods in American history. Roosevelt stepped forward with a message people desperately needed to hear. He famously declared, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Those words weren't just a speech, they became a promise that America could recover. As president, he introduced the New Deal, a series of programs designed to create jobs, rebuild the economy, and restore confidence. Roads, bridges, schools, and public projects were built across the country. Millions of Americans found work again, and families slowly began rebuilding their lives. He spoke directly to citizens through his famous fireside chats, making people feel as if the president was sitting in their living room, speaking honestly and giving them hope during uncertain times. Just when America began recovering, another enormous challenge arrived. World War II changed everything. After the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, the United States entered one of the deadliest wars in human history. Once again, Roosevelt became the steady voice the nation needed. He worked closely with Allied leaders, supported American troops, and inspired millions to stand together against tyranny. What makes this story even more remarkable is that while he was leading an entire nation through depression and war, he was still living every day with the physical limitations caused by polio. Most people never saw the pain behind the scenes because Roosevelt chose to focus on serving others rather than seeking sympathy for himself. His health gradually declined during the war, but he refused to stop working. Even as his body grew weaker, his commitment to the country remained unshaken. On April 12, 1945, just months before World War II ended, Franklin D. Roosevelt passed away at the age of 63. America mourned the loss of a leader who had guided the nation through two of its greatest crises. Whenever I think about Franklin D. Roosevelt, I don't just remember a president. I remember a man who proved that true strength isn't measured by physical ability, it's measured by courage, resilience, and the willingness to keep moving forward when life seems impossible. His journey reminds me that the biggest obstacles can become the foundation of our greatest achievements. His legacy continues to inspire people around the world because he showed us that leadership begins with hope. No matter how difficult life becomes, there is always a reason to keep believing, to keep fighting, and to keep moving toward a better tomorrow. Franklin D. Roosevelt didn't simply lead America through history, he showed the world that the strongest leaders are often the ones who have overcome the hardest battles.